Yo, what's good, Marvin Garden enthusiast? So look, bro,
Got a few punches.
I don't know if it will work, but I'm gonna upload every day in December. Oh wait, I already failed that because it's already December 5th. But I'm gonna upload every day from now on, bro, on this reaction channel, bro. I swear. But listen, we got Suge Knight, the dark story of the most feared man in hip hop. Check it out, bro. If y'all don't know who Suge Knight is, bro, I don't know what to tell you. I genuinely don't.
And he probably drunk about 20 shots of piss. You know what I mean? Literally.
I saw Coolio win and I was like,
Huh?
sorry.
It's like this. For us, anything in wars.
Wait.
When's the last time?
Huh?
Sorry.
Shots of piss. He got a few punches, and he probably drunk about 20 shots of piss. You know what I mean? Literally.
I saw Coolio
Bro,
win and I
what
was
the
like,
fuck?
sorry.
It's like this. For us, anything in wars. When you think about that.
When's the last time you cried?
Ooh, I haven't. Not to say I'm too much of a man to cry. I think that when you grew up in the ghetto, you all cried out. By the time you one time you consider yourself a man, it's gone. You know what I mean?
Many people say that Suge Knight was ruthless, and there are a lot of stories about what he did to people when he didn't like something. DaBaby even dedicated a whole track to this giant, which is called Suge.
I go where I want, good. Play if you want, let's do it. I'm a young CEO, shoot.
You are on the Music Vibe channel, and this is the story of Suge Knight. You will find out the reason for his cruelty, for which he was given 28 years in prison. The full name of today's character is Marion Hugh Knight Jr., born on April 19th, 1965. He spent his childhood in Compton, and everything was more or less normal at first. Almost only whites lived in the city, but after they began to leave, African Americans started taking their place, and Suge found himself in a completely different reality. Gangs, shootings, and everything else surrounded the young man. The first murder he witnessed with his own eyes was at the age of 5 or 6 years old. One day he found a dead man who had $5,000 on him, and he shared half with his mom. As a child, he was called Sugar Bear because of his broad physique. He attended the Linwood Middle School, where he was an American football star.
The 30. Bono was 4 of 11 for 49 yards in the second half. He'll have to put it up here.
He liked to tackle people, he could scrape the paint off his helmet, and he enjoyed it. Why was he like this? He explains this by saying that he grew up in the ghetto where he had to fight for everything. After college, Knight was not drafted by any NFL team, but he was selected during the Los Angeles Rams training camp. As a result, Knight played 2 games for the Rams during the season of 1987. According to his words, the NFL raises slaves, and he did not like how he was being treated. Later, after failing to qualify for professional clubs, Knight took out the bear part from his nickname and, under the name Suge, worked as a bodyguard for important people. In the late 1980s, having met the artist Bobby Brown and other popular African American performers. He held a lot of positions, starting from a security guard to being a promoter to also having to get his hands dirty with another person. In October 1987, Knight was arrested and charged with domestic violence for assaulting his girlfriend and cutting off her hair on the street. Knight is also arrested after allegedly stealing a car with a concealed weapon. He is also charged with attempted murder after he shot the driver 3 times during a carjacking. He pleads guilty and is sentenced to 2 years of probation. He creates his own promotion company called Nightlife and hires a ghostwriter whose name is Mario Johnson. He writes a song for Vanilla Ice called Ice Baby, which becomes a worldwide hit.
He's the one that wrote that? I didn't know. Suge wrote that? The fuck? I didn't know that shit.
Time goes by and no money is coming into Suge's bank account, so it's time to ask Vanilla why. He and the guys approached him in a restaurant and started on a positive note. Hey, how's it going, and so on. Then the conversation continued at the hotel.
Van Winkle describes a terrifying night in his suite at a Beverly Hills hotel when he says Suge Knight showed up with 6 other men.
Did you do that? No, I did not.
It never happened?
Never happened.
You didn't take him out to the balcony?
How that sound?
It sounds like what occurs in
I
other
heard
police
about that.
reports involving you. Again and again, there's a pattern,
on,
Mr.
man.
Knight, where you do that.
That's not true.
However, Vanilla himself says that this did not happen. According to his version, Suge behaved with dignity, although there were hints of threats and blackmailing. Next, Knight meets Dr. Dre, who says that he was fucked over with his contract, so Suge offers him better conditions to sway him to his side. Dr. Dre agrees, but he needed to force Eazy-E and Jerry Heller to let him go somehow. At first, Knight tried to catch Heller in his office with a visit, but after finding that he was not there, the Giant took out his frustration on two of his people, forcing them to crawl on the floor and bark like dogs. Later, Eazy-E arranged—
Oh, nah, that shit's dead. What the fuck? Y'all are acting like dogs for Suge? What the fuck, bro? Hell nah. Bro, what in the fuck? What is wrong with those two security?
the meeting with Dre, but instead Suge came to visit him with his thugs.
Releasing Dre and DOC from Ruthless.
Although the movie showed that he got beat up, that's not actually
that's not what
happened,
happened, bro.
Suge
The
Knight
movie
threatened
is
to kill
different from real life, bro. Y'all gotta understand that.
Eazy's relatives, and this forced the guys to sign an agreement to release Dr. Dre from his contract. NWA wasn't able to escape Knight's terror and hired security to try to deal with him. In a panic, NWA's manager Jerry Heller hired two weightlifting champions as bodyguards.
Suge tried to destroy my record company with the help of others, Dre.
If he walked between my legs, excuse me.
Bro, why is the narrator acting like Eazy and Ruthless Records was scared of Suge? Like, bro, they were not scared of Suge. Trust
probably
me.
think he was my penis.
Later, they create Death Row
What?
Records with the help of Dick Griffey, the owner of Solar Records, who offered the new label an office and studio in Hollywood. Death Row already had its own headquarters, but the label was in serious need of funding. The money will come from Michael Harry O'Harris, one of Los Angeles' biggest cocaine moguls, who legitimized his entrepreneurial image through various means. This drug dealer was in prison and had to be contacted somehow. In 1992, an unpleasant incident happened in the studio. Back when Death Row Records was just beginning to take off, Dr. Dre asked a pair of aspiring rappers, Linwood and George Stanley, I'm assuming they both would have eventually been given cooler rap names, to come in for a recording session. For the two, it was a dream come true, at least until Suge Knight decided to stop by the studio. Linwood took the phone to make a call. This was the phone with which Suge contacted Harris, and it was important for him not to miss the call, because he could have hit him up at any time. That's why Suge asked Linwood to put the phone down, but the latter snapped back and told Knight not to get him involved in his gangster bullshit. Suge grinned and pulled out his gun. He shot at the wall twice. As a result, he ordered the guys to strip down to their underwear and proceeded to beat them to a pulp. To ensure
hell
the two
nah,
were
bro.
sufficiently terrified, he
Nah,
took
that
both
shit's
of their
dead.
IDs, so he could easily find
Y'all
them
are
should
gonna
they be
just let
stupid
that
enough to
happen?
contact the police. Shockingly, that's exactly what they did as soon as they were released, battered and bloody from the Death Row studios. So, what did Suge Knight do to defend himself in court when Linwood and George Stanley tried to sue him? Gave the prosecuting attorney's daughter a record deal. He bought off their own defense with the promise of a recording contract. Thankfully, the prosecutor, Larry Longo, was fired from the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. While we're at it, there was also a so-called red room at the Death Row studio. One day a man came and wanted to sign a contract with the label. Suge agreed but said that if he didn't like it, he would be beaten. Having uttered only 2 words, they started beating him up. At times, even girls got some handed to them.
I was the only lady beat up and he held down.
Another incident that will give you goosebumps occurred in 1995. Having quarreled with cigar swallower Knight over business, the manager of House of Pain in Cypress Hill, Happy Walters, mysteriously disappeared while withdrawing money from an ATM, leaving behind only a wallet. He was spotted 3 days later staggering around the Long Beach area of Los Angeles, covered in burns that are believed to have been made by a cigar. His head was shaved. When Walters recovered enough for the police to question him, he refused to tell who his kidnappers were, but
Bro.
no sooner had his hair grown out than he fired a number of artists from his record label. When Suge signed Pac to the label, many, as in the movie Welcome to Death Row, said that he was out of control. It was impossible to talk to him. Even Michael Harry O'Harris was unhappy with his colleague when he began to appear in all sorts of magazines and then stopped getting in touch altogether and did not want to share profits with him, believing that Michael was a nobody to them.
When Suge got a taste of the spotlight, he wanted it, and he wanted it by himself.
Many say that because of Suge's influence, Tupac began to share his worldview. He went neck deep into the world of thug life, even though he was not so aggressive earlier and thought about the social problems of society. But in turn, Suge Knight said that he himself tried to stop Tupac out of being so aggressive and ruthless. In 1995, Eazy-E dies, and here's that legendary clip.
They get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it.
Oh,
so
well, that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
This version is held by Eazy-E's son, as well as his manager, Jerry Heller. In his opinion, it was the best option so that he would not go to jail. He regrets not letting Eazy-E kill Suge Knight.
Facts, and that's what I was telling y'all earlier, bro. Like, Eazy-E was not scared of Suge, bro. He wanted to kill him, but Jerry Heller told him not to, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, y'all gotta know your shit, bro.
Kill him. Yeah. You know, I would have done the world a favor. He would have done it for sure.
To kill this motherfucker, Suge Knight. No, you're not gonna do that.
Suge Knight.
That was one of the only parts that was right about the movie. Well, not one of the only parts, but that was actually a true part from the movie.
Awards.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
On September 23rd, 1995, Suge Knight's close friend and bodyguard J. Hassan Jamal Robles was killed after a fight that happened at a club between Death Row and Bad Boy Records. Suge blamed the death on Puff Daddy. By some wild turn of events, a person from Bad Boy was at a Death Row party, and Suge wanted to beat some information out of him concerning the whereabouts of Puffy.
He got a few punches, and he probably drunk about 20 shots of piss. You know what I mean? Literally.
In 1996, Tupac is killed while driving in a car with Suge Knight. There was a rumor that Suge Knight allegedly wanted to kill his homie because he wanted to leave the label.
Tupac loved Death Row. Tupac loved me, I loved him.
And after Tupac's death, Death Row didn't last for much longer. Later, Suge would go to jail for being involved in a fight on that fateful day when Pac was killed. According to the producer, he did not participate in the beating of a gang member, but only wanted to prevent a violent beatdown. And to tell the truth, there is no clear evidence that Suge really beat up Orlando Anderson. Knight believes that it would have been better to just tell the judge to go fuck himself and save $5 million than to give it to lawyers who couldn't save him from imprisonment anyway. Well, if it's hard to believe that Suge could have killed Tupac, then Biggie is another story. There is a version that when he was in prison, Suge hired Poochie to eliminate Biggie. Suge Knight of course denies this, explaining that it made no sense for him to do that, and that he was also in prison.
Suge's at the county jail, she goes and meets with him. Suge says, listen, I want Biggie killed. I want you to go ahead and get a hold of my boy Poochie from the neighborhood. He knows.
Where did you hear that from, bro?
After getting out of prison, Suge even got into a feud with Eminem. In an interview, Big Nas, Marshall's former security guard, said that Suge and M first met in 2001 at the Source Awards ceremony. He saw a young and cheeky Slim Shady get into a verbal altercation with the guys in red shirts, and they said,
This Death Row about, this Death Row life. Death Row, what's it got to do with him? He said, hey man, Suge sent him a message.
The bodyguard also told a story about how the famous record label boss tried to harm Eminem at a concert in Hawaii. When the plane landed, they were met by 20 police officers who informed them that Suge Knight's people were there.
I noticed Eminem's face turns tomato red, and he got his fist balled up at his side like he getting ready to, you know, Suge Knight sent us the strong RM. I'm like, whoa. What this got to do with us? I mean, what you talking about?
What do you think of Eminem? Is that what do you think of white rap?
Well, you know, I don't. See, one thing about something, the ghetto is
colorblind on a sense. If you really from the ghetto and you really doing those things you rapping about, you talking about, I can respect that.
Right.
But if somebody else writing your rhymes, somebody else is you telling somebody else's story, that really don't mean nothing to me.
2008,
Bro, what?
He was arrested on drug charges and aggravated assault. The police noticed how he was hitting a naked woman with one hand and clutching a knife in the other. He is accused of assault with a deadly weapon, drug possession, and domestic violence. He's released on a $19,000 bail. In 2014, Knight survived 6 bullets and a surgery, a tenacious man. As Suge himself says, God constantly saves him from death. And of course, he refuses to cooperate with law enforcement agencies, and then he's arrested in Las Vegas for second-degree robbery and driving with a suspended license. Knight and his partner are suspected of robbing Beverly Hills, during which they allegedly stole a camera and inflicted minor injuries on a hapless photographer.
Dude, I'm not taking a picture. I wasn't taking a picture of him.
Talking to, bitch.
Damn.
In January
Bro, don't even try to argue with
2015, Knight
Suge.
was arrested.
Bitch
It is
with that
reported
camera.
that on January 29th, he hit 2 people with a pickup truck. One of them later died in the
Damn.
hospital. The second survived but received minor injuries. The victim was Terry Carter, co-founder of Heavyweight Records and a friend of Knight. The second was Clay Sloan, who managed to survive. The incident occurred in Compton, California, near the set of the film Straight Outta Compton. According to witnesses, they drove up to the nearest diner, where they were arguing about something. At some point, the dispute escalated, and according to police, Knight then got into a pickup truck and ran them over. The next day, Knight himself came to one of the Los Angeles police stations where he was detained. Knight's lawyer said that Knight had no intention of killing anyone. He accidentally knocked them down while trying to escape from the scene of the escalated conflict. On September 21st, 2018, Suge Knight was sentenced to a total of 28 years in prison.
When is bro getting out? What year?
The former head of Death Row refused to contest the charge of murder committed in a state of passion, as a result of which he received a 22-year prison sentence. Suge received an additional 6 years because of the violated law of 3 mistakes, according to which the court has the right to sentence a person to a longer prison term for 3 crimes committed in the past. That's the story of Suge Knight, and I have a question for you. Should I make a video about Puff Daddy? After all, he doesn't have the best reputation.
What do y'all think about the video, bro? Yeah, those security guards acting like dogs, bro, that's crazy, bro. Hell no. Like, bro, even if I was, let's say I was in an altercation with Suge, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm not gonna do that, bro. I'm gonna throw something at bro before I do some shit like that. Even if a gun's pointed at my head, bro, fucking kill me. Kill me. Kill me. I'm done, bro. My time is done. You know what I'm saying? I'm not acting like no dog. Even if there's a gun to my fucking head, bro. Just shoot me, bro. I'm not doing that. But we'll see y'all next time. I'm out.